Welcome in, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Thanks, everyone, for joining today. And good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. Welcome to our BB Dev Day session here on Simplifying Membership Welcome Emails. I'm going to give just a moment or two for everyone to get their bearings, kind of get their audio settings adjusted, all those good things. And I'll go ahead and add that we do have a copy of the full workflow for today's webinar available to you on the Docs tab, so be sure to check that out. Okay, looks like we've got a good group. So again, big welcome to everyone attending our BB Dev Day session here on utilizing the Title II field to simplify membership welcome emails. I hope everyone has had a good, multiple BB Dev Day sessions, and hopefully we can show you a good one for this session as well. Now we'll go over just a bit of housekeeping first, and then we'll meet our speaker as we dive in. Okay. So the webinar audio is being broadcast through your computer speakers. Hopefully you all can hear us. If anything changes, though, please let us know. If you encounter any audio or technical challenges, a quick refresh of your browser should do the trick. But worst case scenario, you can close out and then come right back in, and that's okay as well. Now, as far as navigating the webinar, you've got the chat tab and then the docs or Documents tab, where you'll find a full PDF for today's session, and then of course the Q&A tab if you have any kind of big picture questions there. Now the session is being recorded, so you'll receive a link to that within 24 hours. And if you need to adjust any audio settings, you can do that with the little cogwheel at the bottom. Now, for time's sake, we want to potentially save most of the questions until the end, but if you have any comments or want to share your organization or where you're from, please feel free to do that in the chat, of course. Now from here, I will go ahead and introduce our speaker. So our speaker for this session is Mr. Michael Dykes with a BS in Business and Economics from Empire State University and certification in full stack web development from New Camp. Michael brings 25 years of experience with the razor's edge from within a variety of organizations. He's the current database administrator and architect for Marines Memorial Association, centered in San Francisco. He's also a serial entrepreneur and owns and runs a small entertainment and client services company, which is on hiatus currently to rebuild. Lastly, just a few fun facts about Michael. When he's not knee-deep in database projects, he's also a dance rehab therapist, enjoys singing, as well as making bags when he has the spare time. Now, without further ado, I would love to turn things over to Michael to dive into the presentation. Michael, take it away whenever you are ready.
There we are. Thank you, Libby, for that warm introduction. Hello, everyone. It's wonderful to be here with you. And before I start things off, I think it would be fun to share one more interesting factoid about who I am in English and in Spanish. So here it is. I and my performance group made it to the celebrity judging round on America's Got Talent Season 5. We were 500 acts out of 50,000 that made it to that point. We got the chop, our segment didn't air, and I learned so much from that experience. Transferable skills, how to work with a large machine, meaning a company, how to work under pressure, how to tackle challenging technology, this and that, right? So you might be wondering, well, how did this guy end up here in tech database management? Well, the short answer is when I started out as a performer in New York City, I made a commitment to work in a field that was not waiting tables or retail. So here we are. Gracias, Libby, por esa cálida presentación. Hola a todos, me alegro de estar con ustedes. Antes de comenzar, creo que sería interesante contar una historia divertida sobre mí en inglés y español. Mi grupo escénico y yo llegamos hasta la ronda de jueces famosos en la quinta temporada de America's Got Talent. Entre las 50,000 que comenzaron, solo quedábamos 500 actuaciones seleccionadas. Pero nos dieron un palo y la actuación nos salió en televisión. Afortunadamente, aprendí mucho sobre la experiencia. Por ejemplo, muchas habilidades que puedo usar en mi trabajo. Quizá estáis pensando, ¿cómo has acabado aquí en tecnología y como un gerente de base de datos? La razón es fácil. Cuando fui un actor, me prometí a mí mismo que no acabaría viviendo con el sueldo de un camarero o en una tienda. Aquí estamos. Empezamos. Let's begin. Let's get started. I love that comment over. So the agenda for today, again, is to focus on this creative workaround on membership numbers used in Luminate Online. And the result is to retool Title II and use it as a membership number merge field in the RENXT auto email workflow. And then our secondary focus will be to do the data cleanup of this temporary table use for membership numbers. And I won't spend a whole lot of time on item 2. So let's get started. Have your PDF copies ready. And I want to point out that some of the images on your PDFs are not in my presentation for the sake of time. And I'll point those out as we go through the presentation. Where's my cursor? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to tell you another story about this slide. Manual process challenge, identified opportunity. So the story is really going to hit all of these points. All right, so in late 2022, as I was onboarding at the Marines Memorial Association in San Francisco, one of my first goals was to interview all the users of RENXT and Luminate Online, because at that time, Relo was dripping in, giving information into RENXT. So when I got to interview the front desk staff member, who's like the forward-facing, he's the first person members see when they walk into the office. So when I got to interview him, I was met with hearing how he processes new members of the organization. Taking a deep breath here. It was a series of copy-paste steps, a little bit of information from Luminate onto an Office 365 email, a little bit of data from RENXT, pasted into the RENXT email, copy, paste, copy, paste. If the Olympic Games had like created a tech sport called copy paste, this young man would certainly win a gold medal. So meticulous. Poor fella. I was visibly pained, and he saw that on my face, if you can't imagine, because I knew I could provide a simpler solution. But I left it alone because I'm not one to interfere with someone's workflow yet. So fast forward, about a year later, after we had flipped the switch to turn Importomatic on and Relo off, I became quite familiar with Importomatic and discovered that Title II was not used by our organization. So I built out a mind map framework of the idea, and I discussed it with Alison Bolduc, who's our Omatic consultant on special projects. And she loved the idea. We got to work, and we tested the final result with this young man. And now I'm going to share with you this process. So all things considered, the workflow automation, the operational impact, and the end-of-month data maintenance had cut about an estimated 10 to 15 hours a week down to 2 to 3 hours. There we go. Okay. So you can see the end result here, and I'm purposely repeating myself on this creative retooling so it communicates the specificity of use between Luminate Online, Informatic, and RENXT. So you can see over here that in this final email test, we've got the member number landing perfectly, and this is Title II from Luminate Online. So let's now introduce Mrs. Testifer Testerman. She's a generous old gal. She has attended events at the Marines Memorial. She comes in at she comes into the hotel. She's got her fur on, her ladies who lunch hat. She loves to sip the wine. She likes to have the cheese, and she talks to the membership director and this and that the other. Just loves it, and has finally decided to become a member. So now we are looking at Mrs. Testerman's constituent record in Luminate Online. And I want to point out that Informatic is only looking at profile information in Luminate Online. So you see in this first slide, this is her general information. And then over in the next slide, you're going to see member ID ABC123. So keep your eyes on the prize, all right? That's the table we're focused on. So I want to just take a step into, query to, again, get granular. And I can't assume that everyone understands or knows this. Maybe you do. Maybe so I'm going to just point it out regardless, because it's important to just understand data flow and where it just kind of lives in the systems, So here we are looking at a constituent query in database view of the Razor's Edge. And I just want to point out in the criteria that Title I and Title II are still usable. I'll explain why, much like suffix 1 and suffix 2. So 2 stories, well, yeah, 2 stories. First story, a year ago when we were building this out, we were still able to rename tables. So we decided to rename Title II to Member ID for this workflow. Now you cannot do that. So this is why I'm saying Title I and Title II, as I see it in criteria and database view, are still usable. If you ever journey on over to tables in web view, you only see titles. That's it. But you see Title I and Title II data. So I don't want to get too much more granular, but another thing is, if you hear me say member ID, think Title II, because we were able to rename it. All right, let's continue on to mapping. So in this example, we are looking at Informatic configuration, and you should already it's assumed that you're already using an import to help pull in Luminate data into RENXT. So this import profile for our needs is an example of how we're targeting membership data, from like primary member to family members to gift information, membership giving levels, all of that stuff. So highlighted, you're going to see row IC is mapping the Luminate membership ID table to the RENXT Title II table. Caught myself, I didn't say member ID. Getting better there. All right. Okay, so once that's done, we are now ready to get into the workflow. So let's mosey on over to RENXT Communications. And I want to point out that I didn't mention that we are going to build a workflow email. So you might want to note that in your PDFs. It's not just an email. You want to build a workflow email because that's how they see each other. So I want to just point something out before we look at it. I always think mail merge, when I'm creating like an email template, mergeable fields, if people still use Word merge printing letters and you merge them to the Excel spreadsheet. Similarly, this is how I see it. Or maybe some of you have used like marketing emails like MailChimp or something. So the functionality of email inside of RENXT feels the same. So let's go there. All right. So simply you open the email or you create it and you build it out. And then you click merge. You click donor. And then you insert your merge fields into the documents, into your email. So you'll see how I've placed title 2 for member ID because we've set it up to feed that into the template. Click apply after you have completed setting up your email template. And we continue. Now, it's advisable to test before you publish. So let's do that. Ain't nothing wrong with reminding everyone on how to do a test. So let's just simply rename your email subject line for your test, enter the email addresses you wish to send to, and save and close. Pretty simple. I think this is a good time for me I'm kind of curious out there. With our organization, we have, I think, 3 people that need to look at an email and make edits or this and that, the other. So I'm curious, and just type a number into the chat. How many organizations out there require 5 or less people to approve an email? How many out there require 4 or less to approve an email? 3 or less? 2 or less? 1 or fewer? Yes, Andrea, that's right. 1 or fewer, yeah. So, joking aside, it's so easy to make a mistake. And then that email is out and it represents your organization and you got a test. Welcome, test person, so can't stress that enough. So if you're satisfied with your results, you can move forward with setting up the workflow. Alternatively, you have the option to return to the email template and select publish manually. So, but in this in this example, we are doing it as part of building out the workflow. And I also had an idea, thought about it. You're also buying yourself time to maybe do a few more edits before you publish your workflow email. So let's continue. So we're going to navigate to the workflow designer. And you're going to create a new workflow, but I've already done that. It's called BB Dev Days, and we're going to go in and edit it. So in your PDFs, this particular slide does not have the images for the sake of time, so I will go through it. And if you wish to follow along, all images will be at the bottom of the section, which is between pages 11 and 20 on your PDFs. So for your workflow setup for the gift, we want to click Edit Step. We want to click Select Criteria. 3, we want to click Constituent Gives a Gift, and then go to Gift Details. 4, under Gift Details, select First Gift. And again, this should make sense. We're only asking the flow to trigger and send an email to only first gifts. So that's already isolating our group of folks. And then we go to gift amount. And then number 5, select the option most appropriate for your organization. So in our example, I chose greater or equal to, and I entered, now we're on step 5, next 5 steps. I entered, I chose $5. Number 2, click select gift types. Oh, jumble mouth. Choose one-time gift and recurring, because we have people who want to pay once, they want their membership, and then they'll want to renew the next year, and then they want to pay again once. Or then we have those who just like the recurring option. Collect, that's going to be a new word, collect. Click select, and now click select funds, and we have membership fund here, and then we click select, and here's that note. Another short story. I could have sworn, Libby, you can attest to this or not, if you've heard of this. Back, I was able to select a date and time for when flows could go. But now it seems like that's changed, and we have a 24-hour polling cycle. So once that batch is committed, you've got 24 hours until that email gets sent out. I guess the logic here is the system waits to maybe there'll be others that will be added before, and then it can just send out. I don't know, but that's the game. You want to say something about that?
Oh, just saying you're right on, Michael. So your workflow list updates about every 24 hours or so, and it's always performed overnight. So you're right on, right, spot on there.
All right. So we click save, and then we click save again, folks. Okay, so now we're going back to what I've talked before. We're going to go back and publish the draft email. So again, redundancy here, but I think it's important because, you know, every organization has different needs. And so, so we're going to go back to the workflow email. We're going to make sure we're removing all the test gobbledygook for no oopsie daisies. We're going to use the email for a workflow, and then we're going to publish it. And then we're going to head back over to the Workflow Designer, and we're going to continue editing it. So now we're in the Designer again, because we want to connect that now published email. So go and edit the step to add the email, and it'll scream at you. There's a nice little red triangle up there saying, hey, something's off. We need something here. So go in, click the 3 dots, edit step. You should see the email, select it. So you're now attaching it to your workflow, and then save, and the alert is gone, and you see the email name attached. So let's move on to the next part of the flow, which is action. So something I just want to really point out here, and it's under assigned to. In order for this piece to work, the idea is we want to give the staff member access to actions inside of Portfolio Work Center. So the staff member has to have a constituent record and be assigned as a fundraiser in order for you to find that person in this next step. So you want to edit the action, edit step again, and then you want to assign to that staff member. So on page 29 of your PDFs, I was unable to remove Jonathan Banks, but basically I just X'd him out and put my name in. So, you can replace someone if you'd assign someone and maybe you want to replace. So sorry for if it's a little confusing. So Michael Dykes is the name selected, and you activate your workflow. Okay, so now let's pretend you've just imported your new member import. And we will not walk through the Importomatic importing process in this demonstration. So you run your new member import. One thing I love about Importomatic is you can see the raw data coming through, and you can kind of just check things as you're building them into a batch, right? So run your new member import. And once you're done, Importomatic makes your batch, and you can go into your batch, highlight a row, and you should see in constituent information to the far right that Title II has ABC 1, 2, 3. We've got it. We've got what we need. Everything's ready to go. So now let's pretend it has been 24 hours since you've committed that batch. So go into your Portfolio Work Center in RENXT. You should see under Actions some past due items. Click into the number to view and see. Success! The workflow has triggered the action, confirming that everything is working as intended. Mrs. Testament is in there, and we can do what we want inside of the action, make notes, mark it complete. So it's a total huzzah over here. Has anyone ever heard the word huzzah? Just checking in. Yes? No? Well, yes, I never heard, Stephanie, the word huzzah. So I was working as a consultant for the Karina Endowment in Goldman Sachs, New York City. And I was working in Blackbaud grant making, and I discovered that a colleague of mine, I love that, huzzah, huzzah. So I discovered a colleague of mine, and I both went to the same conservatory, so we had a very colorful working relationship. I could talk about musical theater and rock and roll, and she could talk about Shakespeare and all these things. And so I hit a milestone on the project, and she goes, huzzah! And I'm like, I'm one for foreign languages. Can you enlighten me a little bit? And she's like, hooray, wonderful, fabulous. So if you've never heard huzzah out there, I'm giving that gift to you. And it looks like some of us do know what huzzah means. So, but the point is here, another point, actually, you can also use maybe actions to cross-check against your batches. Maybe that's another cross-check if you're a very meticulous organization. We are very small. This Marines Memorial is a very small team, so the double checks are important. So there are ways to, I guess, retool, an action before you select it, because at the end of the day, these new members now have an action saying that email has gone out. We've got a gift in place, and we've got a membership in place. So it's just a wonderful thing to see. So that completes the setup for this creative retooling of Title II. So now let's just quickly jump into data maintenance. Since the membership number is already exists in membership tab, there's no further need to retain it because it really was just used to welcome the person. So we're going to go over to query, and I'm going to assert that you know how to use global change in RENXT. So let's just jump over to our query. I simply just use not one of, because we have Mr., Mrs., Colonel, General, First Sergeant, we got a long list. So we don't want to see any of those. And I only want to see numeric values, right? And then we just want to make sure we're not looking at Title IIs that are not blank. So that's the query. And then I spit out under output, Title II to make sure I see all numeric results. And, again, if you want to be meticulous, click into each row and just kind of go, yeah, that was in the action. You know what I mean? It could be another cross check. And then we go over to, there it goes. Administration, global change, plug your query in. And we're going to pull over Title II. And we're going to add blank to remove those numeric values in that query. Change now. And complete. And close. You might want to print your little report. I don't want to kill another tree, so I never use those. So I just get out of those. I just move along, and I go back. I run the query again, and I expect to see no results. So then it's done. So the cleanup is complete, and then it's a wash and repeat cycle until you turn that automation off. You can I forget the word is, disengage it, so it stops running. But once it's on until you turn it off. So it's going to continue doing what it's supposed to do. And we are complete. Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening to my presentation. Muchísimas gracias.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Michael. Appreciate you walking us through all of that. That was enlightening and just a creative way to make use of a lesser used field. So thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Now everyone, thanks. Well, I will go ahead and launch our survey for today. Please fill that out as that comes up. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free, now that we have some extra time, to post those in the chat. And between myself and Michael, we'll do our best to field any of those. So let me go ahead and launch our survey here. Just for that, the potential for the golden ticket. Let's see.
That's right, for BabyCon.
Yes, oh yes. All right, so that is going. Okay. Very good, very good. Well, I'm curious now, anyone in attendance, curious if you all have solid membership programs, and if you all ever run into any, challenges like this, like how do you, meet your new member as soon as possible, basically, kind of like Michael has shared, any creative solutions that you might have. Or do you think this is something that you could potentially implement? Maybe look at it that way too.
Yeah, that was one thing I didn't say, if I can jump in. The reason to build this out was the immediacy. There's a need to return to that white glove membership service, so we can serve the everyone in the armed forces who are members as if they were a very exclusive club, and reduce that administrative, swivel chair busy work, so then they can be forward facing and actually provide that white glove customer service. So to have it spit out immediately.
Yep. While it's still fresh, while they're like, oh yes, I just joined, they're looking potentially for that email even. So yeah, yes. Like time is of the essence. You're right.
Yes.
You're right. All right. Let's see. And just in case anyone joined late, you'll find the PDF for today with full step-by-step on the Docs tab. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. And just quick reminder that you'll also receive a recording from today's session within 24 hours in case there are any bits or pieces that you want to be able to review again, if you'd like to set something like this up in your database as well. All right. Good stuff.
You're welcome, Carol. You're welcome, Stephanie.
Thanks. Thank you all for attending. We really appreciate it and hope your other sessions have gone well as well. Oh man, and it's the final day of BB Dev Days. Mm-hmm. Well, good. Okay. Well, if anyone has any questions or you think of anything as you're hanging out here, Michael and I will hang around for a little bit. But if you need to be on your way, we understand as well, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Hopefully, potentially, maybe some folks have some brain dates that they're attending or other sessions, things like that. So hopefully more to look forward to. Right. Okay. Good stuff. Checking to see. Okay, nothing on the Q&A tab as of yet, but yeah, we'll hang about. Yeah, thanks again, everyone, for joining. We're glad you could attend and learn something new, hopefully.
You're welcome, Jennifer.
Okay, we'll give just a few more minutes as well, and hopefully these survey's still open, so no rush on that if you're still filling that out, and thanks in advance for anyone who is filling that out as well. Yeah. Okay. But I'll just add quickly, Michael, I love how you close the loop on the solution as well. Not only are you implementing the ability to give that membership number directly to your members, but you're following up and saying, okay, this is how you can clean it up as well once you're done with it. So I think that was just a great add on your part.
Thank you.
Just wanted to call that out.
Thank you. And even now, because technology changes so much, I'm like, oh wow, there's ways to do this with a list. Maybe not the flow. Maybe you need the flow, but so I'm like already going, oh wait, there's this way to do it. Now there's this way to do it, and there's you know what I mean. It just never ends.
Yep, 100 ways to do one thing in Razor's Edge, right?
Yes.
Good. All right. Well, I'll give just another minute or so on the survey, and then we'll wrap that up and let folks be on their way to their next session. But again, thank you all so much for joining today. Really glad you could attend. Okay. Okay. All right. I will go ahead and close up our survey there. Okay. That should start the countdown. And how about you, Michael? Do you have any sessions that you're going to after this, or was this your final for the day?
I think I'm going to attend the closing.
Of course.
I think it's at 2 my time. 3, 4, 5. Is it 5 o'clock your time?
3:40 Eastern.
3:40. Oh, so it's
Oh,
at 1.
as of the time right now. Yeah, but
Yeah, that's the only one I have on my calendar because I have to handle some Marines Memorial stuff. So it's, it is what it is.
I hear you. But hopefully got the full effect and the full benefits of all the all that's going on with BB Dev Days. It's just so many sessions to pick from, and oh man.
Yeah, and we do plan to go to BBCon. All things considered, maybe we'll win. Maybe I'll win a session, but yeah, I love just learning. Like, oh wow, there's this new thing, or because I'm in. I'm refreshing on Power Automate and Power Apps, and those cards and stuff, and we're looking at the membership card now. So, well, I'm looking at it because I'm like, did the HTML learning stick? Angular was in one of the sessions. I'm like, do we have to now learn Angular? Because I learned React, and they're like, well, you kind of, if you want, I don't know. So I'm like, wow.
Oh my goodness. Love it. All right. Well, should we wrap up for the session?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'll see you backstage then.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, everyone. Y'all have a great rest of your day and a great rest of the week and a great rest of BB Dev Days.